Show me your moves, and let's build Captain Falcon in Dungeons & Dragons. I want to build as many Smash characters as possible, and this is kind of my main go-to whenever I play Smash. From the very first iteration, we need to hammer out the fact that he's pretty darn fast. Even if he doesn't beat out Sheik and Sonic, we need to make sure he's kind of flashy, because that's kind of his style. We need to pay a little bit of tribute to the fact that he comes from F-Zero, so he needs to have some sort of way to get around even faster, considering he came from a racing game. And then, of course, we need to pull off a Falcon Punch. As always, if you want to follow along, my character sheets are available on Patreon, linked in the description and comments down below. But let's go ahead and dive in, starting with the species. Captain Falcon's a human, so we're going to keep it that way. This allows us to choose one skill, so we're going to go with Performance to get his more showman kind of nature. And then we get an Origin feat. We're going to go with Lucky, mostly because I don't know of too many other Origin feats that are going to help this build in too many ways. But Lucky is always useful, because it gives you a number of luck points equal to your proficiency bonus, and you can use them to grant yourself advantage on a d20 roll, or you can force an enemy to have disadvantage on an attack roll against you. Then when it comes to the background, Captain Falcon is actually a bounty hunter, which they do have a background for. But I want to take a nod to the fact that he has his Falcon Punch as soon as possible. So we're going to go with the Flaming Fist Mercenary. I know that technically they're not actually flaming fists that they're punching with, and it's more of just a name, but I like it anyways. And this gives us skill proficiencies in Intimidation and Perception, while also granting us the Origin feat, Tough, giving us an extra 2 hit points of health per level of this overall build. Then when it comes to a starting class, because we will do a multi-class, we're going to go with Paladin. We want to focus on hitting hard and at the same time focusing a little bit on charisma, because that's the sense I get from Captain Falcon. We get to choose 2 skills, so we're going to grab Persuasion and Athletics. We get the feature Lay on Hands, so you have a pool of healing equal to 5 times your Paladin level, which you can use to heal yourself or somebody else as a bonus action. And if you spend at least 5 of those hit points and don't actually take any healing, you can instead use it to cure the poison condition. You get a weapon mastery right at first level, and there's not many weapons that I think really fit, because he's usually more of a hand-to-hand person, but he does carry a laser pistol on his hip. So we're going to grab Weapon Mastery with a laser pistol, which is actually a weapon in D&D. This gives us the Weapon Mastery feature, Vex. So when you hit a creature with a laser pistol, you have advantage on your next attack roll against that creature before the end of your turn. Then finally, at first level of Paladin, you get some spell casting. There's one new spell from Forgotten Realms Heroes of Faerun that I wanted to throw in there, and it's called Ward Away. You hurl a disorienting magical force towards one creature you can see within range. The target makes a Constitution saving throw, and on a failed save, they take 2d4 force damage and their speed is halved. And then on its next turn, it can only take an action or bonus action, but not both. I like the idea of this because it's like you pick up an item in Smash Bros and throw it at an enemy, shattering their shield and disorienting them. Then we'll also grab Command because it feels fitting, ordering a creature to fight you, run away, drop their weapons, or whatever you think is necessary. We'll grab Divine Smite because it's kind of a default for most paladins, and you'll actually get it by default soon, but it gives you an extra 2d8 radiant damage for an attack, boosting an extra 1d8 if you happen to be fighting a fiend or undead. But we need to get the Falcon Punch and Falcon Kick, so we're going to grab Searing Smite. Thankfully, smites in Dungeons & Dragons got updated in 2024, so they're applicable to unarmed strikes. And Searing Smite allows you to do some fire damage with your smite. Searing Smite only does 1d6 fire damage added to your normal attack, but if you hit a creature with this at the start of each of its turns until the spell ends, the target takes an extra 1d6 fire damage, and then it's forced to make a Constitution saving throw, and if it fails, the spell just keeps burning them. Then at second level of Paladin, you get to choose a fighting style, and we're going to go with unarmed fighting. He does mostly punches and kicks, so we need to be able to address that and do a bit more damage. This makes it so your unarmed strikes do 1d6 plus your strength modifier, and if you don't have any weapons or a shield in your hands, that 1d6 upgrades to a d8. And then the other benefit is that at the start of each of your turns, while you're grappling a creature, they automatically take 1d4 bludgeoning damage. Also at second level, you get Paladin Smite. So you get the Divine Smite spell prepared by default, but thanks to this feature, you can actually cast it without expending a spell slot once per long rest. Then at third level of Paladin, you get Channel Divinity, which you can use for Divine Sense, sensing some evil stuff around you, but you can use Channel Divinity for something else, because you get to choose a subclass at this level, and we need to be able to boost up his speed a bit, and one subclass for Paladins that's kind of pretty good at that is the Oath of Glory Paladin. When you become an Oath of Glory Paladin, you get the feature Inspiring Smite. So immediately after you cast the Divine Smite spell, you can expend one of your uses of Channel Divinity and give out or take for yourself some temporary hit points. The amount is equal to 2d8 plus your Paladin level, divided amongst however many creatures you want to distribute this to. But if you're just doing a 1v1 in Smash, you just want to take that temp HP for yourself. Oath of Glory Paladins get additional spells like Guiding Bolt, Heroism, and a few others that we may or may not get to. Finally, the last thing you get when you take this subclass is Peerless Athlete. So as a bonus action, you can expend one of your uses of Channel Divinity to gain advantage on athletics or acrobatics checks, and the distance of your long and high jumps is increased by 10 feet, which is really going to help when it comes to doing a double jump to get back into the level and not get knocked off. 4th level of Paladin gives us an ability score improvement, and we're definitely going to be min-maxing a bit, so this is our starting ability scores, and then we're just going to boost up strength by 2 points. 5th level of Paladin gives us extra attack, so we can attack twice per attack action, and it gives us a very important ability called Faithful Steed. So you always have the Find Steed spell prepared. So you have at least some sort of mount, and we're going to treat this as your race car or racing vehicle from F-Zero. This feature specifically allows you to cast the spell once without expending a spell slot every long rest. Also at 5th level, you get access to those 2nd level spells, but all we want is that Find Steed anyways. 6th level of Paladin gives us Aura of Protection, so you get to add your Charisma modifier to any saving throw, and it actually applies to any allies within 10 feet of you as well. 7th level of Paladin gives us Aura of Alacrity, so your speed is increased by 10 feet, and it can actually boost up your allies' speed by 10 feet as well if they're within your Aura of Protection, but we're more focused on boosting up our own speed for this build. 8th level of Paladin gives us another ability score improvement, so we're going to go ahead and boost up our strength by 2 more points, and then if we did take 1 more level in Paladin, we'd be able to get haste from being an Oath of Glory Paladin, which would be super useful. But instead of jumping into 9th level of Paladin, we're going to do a multi-class. And I should call out that you can basically take these levels in any order. So if you want to do your multi-class earlier, you can. The only thing that's truly important is the last level, so you can make sure you get an epic boon, and the first level, because you want to make sure you get the proficiencies from being a Paladin. But jumping into the multi-class, we're going to be diving into Bard. I feel like Captain Falcon is a bit of a showboat, so having Bard feels kind of fitting. This gives us an additional skill proficiency, and because you're a bounty hunter, we're going to grab Investigation. We also get the feature Bardic Inspiration, so as a bonus action, you can actually inspire somebody else, giving them an extra D6 that can add to a D20 roll. At level 5 of being a Bard, that D6 upgrades to a D8, and then at level 10, it upgrades to a D10, and if you somehow manage to break the max level rule in D&D, you would be able to get a D12 at level 15 of Bard. Then the last thing you get at first level of Bard is some spellcasting. We are going to be pretty low spellcaster on this build, but there's some things that we need to grab to make it fit, just so you have some sort of ranged attack, while at the same time, if you wanted to pick up a laser pistol or some random item, we'll grab Starry Wisp. It's a ranged attack, it does some radiant damage, and it feels pretty fitting for more of a laser blast type of thing. Then, for a bit more of leaning into the charisma, we're going to grab Vicious Mockery to mock your enemies and do a bit of a pose as you knock them off the map, and maybe Thaumaturgy, just because it's another showboaty kind of thing. Then we want to boost up your jumping ability so you can get back to the map in those dire situations a little bit easier with the spell Jump, allowing you to jump 30 feet just by spending 10 feet of movement. And we'll also grab Long Strider to boost up your speed even more, giving you an extra 10 feet of movement speed, meaning that your movement speed is 50 feet without concentrating on anything. And then the last first level spell I would grab is Silvery Barbs, because it's always pretty useful, forcing an enemy to have disadvantage on something and then giving somebody else advantage. Second level of Bard gives you expertise and 2 skills, so we're going to boost up our perception and athletics. Also at second level of Bard we get Jack of all trades, so anything you're not proficient in, you get to add half of your proficiency bonus to it. Third level of Bard gives us a Bard subclass. And I can understand wanting to go with something like maybe a Dance Bard because it focuses a bit more on punching, but a lot of the features of a Dance Bard is more about protecting people. And Smash Bros isn't really that kind of game most of the time. And there's a couple spells I want to grab as soon as possible. And the best way to do that is with the College of Lore. The College of Lore will give us 3 more skill proficiencies, and we're going to grab Deception, Insight, and Acrobatics. We also get the feature Cutting Words, so when a creature you can see within 60 feet of yourself makes a damage roll or succeeds on an ability check or attack roll, you can take a reaction to expend a Bardic Inspiration and subtract it from whatever they rolled. 3rd level Bard also gives us access to 2nd level spells. And there's only 2 spells worth grabbing that really fit the character here, and that's Blur to force enemies to have disadvantage attacking you, and Hold Person. So you can grapple an enemy, but Hold Person really just paralyzes them, which is insanely powerful, especially for a Paladin, because a paralyzed creature that gets hit with a melee attack is automatically critically hit. 4th level Bard gives us an ability score improvement, so let's go ahead and throw 2 points into Charisma. 5th level gives us Font of Inspiration, so we can recharge our Bardic Inspiration on a short or long rest instead of just waiting for a long rest. We would get some other spells here, but we're gonna wait a while. There's no other spells I really want to grab until next level at 6th level of Bard, because thanks to being a lore Bard, we get Magical Discoveries. This allows us to grab 2 spells from the Cleric, Druid, or Wizard spell list, and they count as Bard spells. And the 2 spells I gotta grab as soon as possible are Haste, which we could have grabbed from taking 1 more level in Paladin, but that will boost up our movement speed by double and then give us a bonus +2 to our armor class, giving us an extra action that we can use for 1 attack or anything else you would use an action for, as long as it's not some spell casting. And we have advantage on dexterity saving throws. The only downside is that 1 haste runs out. For 1 turn, your speed is 0 and you're incapacitated, but it's only for 1 turn, so just try to manage that properly. The other spell we're going to grab is Conjure Minor Elementals. This will give us another way to do plenty of Falcon Punches and Falcon Kicks, because we can add on some elemental damage, which we're just going to be leaning into fire, and it can add to every attack you're doing an extra 2d8 elemental damage. And you can boost this even higher, adding an extra 1d8 for every spell slot above 4th level. And we can't grab both of those spells right away, but we would be able to get them as soon as we hit 7th level in Bards, so it's fine to just plan for that now. Then at 7th level of Bard, you get Counter Charm, so you can disrupt the Charmed or Frightened condition, giving advantage on saving throws against them. 8th level of Bard allows us to boost up our Charisma score by 2 more points. Then 9th level of Bard gives us access to 5th level spellcasting, and this is finally some more spells that I would want to grab, which is actually just 1 spell. We're going to upgrade Hold Person to Hold Monster, because Hold Person only affects humanoids. Hold Monster can affect basically any type of creature. Also at 9th level, we get Expertise and 2 more skills, so let's boost up our Investigation and Persuasion. 10th level of Bard gives us Magical Secrets, so now we can dive into any spell list whenever we want. And there's only 1 more spell I really want to grab anyways, and that's at next level, because at 11th level of Bard we get access to 6th level spells, and the only spell I really care about is Investiture of Flame. This makes you immune to fire damage. It makes it so any creature that moves within 5 feet of you for the first time on a turn or ends its turn there takes 1d10 fire damage, and you can use your action to create a 15-foot long, 5-foot wide line of fire, dealing 4d8 fire damage. And then at 12th level of Bard, you get an ability score improvement, but this is 20th level overall, fulfilling the 1 requirement of being at least 19th level to get an epic boon. So because you're such a fast character, we're going to go with the Boon of Speed. This allows us to boost up 1 ability score by 1 point. Frankly, it doesn't matter which one you choose, so let's go ahead and just throw 1 point into Strength. It also gives you the feature Escape Artist, so as a bonus action, you can take the Dodge action, which also ends any grappled condition on you. And finally, you get the feature Quickness, so your speed is increased by 30 feet, bringing your total speed by default to 70 feet. Thanks to Aura of Alacrity and your base speed of 30 feet. Then you can add in Long Strider for a bonus 10 feet, bringing you to 80 feet of movement. And if you happen to feel like casting haste on yourself, you can get 160 feet of movement. So you're a pretty fast character, and you're one of the OG fast characters from Smash Brothers, which is one of the things I loved about him, and why he was my main fighter, at least early on in the series until we got an insane amount of choices. If you want access to the character sheet for this build or any other builds, feel free to check out my Patreon, link down below. And if you made it all the way to the end of this video, let me know by hitting that like button, and I'll be here hoping you roll at least 3 nat 20s in your next D&D session, especially if you want to Falcon Punch somebody into oblivion by playing as Captain Falcon in Dungeons & Dragons. And if you made it all the way here, there's a good chance you might like one of my other videos. YouTube thinks you might like this one, so feel free to check it out. Probably pretty good, or at least I hope it is, but I guess there's only one way to find out.